Right. We're diving deep today into the world of YouTube, and specifically niches. We're going to be looking at a video from Nate Black, all about finding that perfect YouTube niche for 2025.
I love Nate Black's videos.
Yeah, he's great. I think for a lot of people, the idea of finding a niche can be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, where do you even start?
Right.
But one thing I really appreciated about his video is that he breaks it down, he simplifies it, and he makes it feel doable.
I think one of the things he does really well is he defines a niche. I mean, I think a lot of people hear that word, niche,
Yeah.
but they don't really know what it means. And, he really stresses that it's not just about finding something you love, it's about finding an existing audience
Yeah.
with a specific interest.
And that was something that really stuck with me too. Because it's so easy to get caught up in like, what am I passionate about?
Yeah.
Which is important, don't get me wrong, but if there's no audience for it, it's going to be a lot harder to build a successful channel.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can be the most passionate person in the world about something. But if there are only like 10 other people who are interested in that topic on YouTube, it's going to be tough to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So you need to find that sweet spot where your passion intersects with audience demand. And I think the whole niching slider concept that Nate talks about is so helpful.
I love the niching slider.
It really gives you a visual of that spectrum.
Totally. And it kind of makes you think about, where do you want to be on that slider? Do you want to be super hyper focused, or do you want to be a little bit broader?
Right. Like on one end of the slider, you could have a channel. It's all about, say, vegan baking for people with gluten allergies.
Right.
Very specific.
Super specific.
But there's an audience for that.
Absolutely. And if you can be like the go-to person for that very specific thing, you're going to build a loyal following really quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to find that information anywhere else. And on the other end of the slider, you might have someone who's also a vegan baker.
Yeah.
But their channel is more about like the lifestyle.
Right.
They're sharing recipes, but they're also talking about, sustainability and ethical fashion and all these other things that are connected to that vegan lifestyle.
Exactly. So it's almost like they're niching up a little bit. They're appealing to a broader audience who's interested in veganism as a whole.
Yeah. And it's not about one being better than the other.
No, not at all.
It's about what aligns with your goals and your personality and your, kind of how you want to show up online.
I think that's a good point. It's like it depends on your personality, too. Some people thrive when they're really focused on one thing.
Yeah.
And then other people are more like multi-passionate.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to talk about all the different things that they're interested in.
Absolutely. So understanding those advantages and disadvantages of each approach is important before you even start creating content.
Definitely. And before you even think about which side of the slider you want to land on, let's talk about some of the hot niche ideas that Nate sees taking off in 2025.
Okay, yes. This is the exciting part.
Yeah.
Where we get to kind of like look into the crystal ball and see what the future holds for YouTube.
Totally. So first up, he's talking about freelancing, which makes a lot of sense given the rise of the gig economy.
Right. I mean, more and more people are choosing to work for themselves. So it makes sense that there would be an increasing demand for content that helps people navigate that world.
Totally. And you know what I think is really cool about the freelancing niche is that it leverages the power of YouTube to build credibility.
Yes. It's like a living, breathing portfolio.
It is. You're not just telling potential clients what you can do. You're showing them through video tutorials and case studies and, even behind-the-scenes glimpses of your process.
And I think it speaks to that need for transparency and authenticity that people are really craving these days.
Right. People want to see the real you, the person behind the brand. They want to know who they're working with.
And you can build that trust through video in a way that you can't really do with just a website or a resume.
Yeah, I agree. It's so much more personal.
Okay, so freelancing.
Yeah.
What's next on Nate's list?
Okay, this one might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
He's predicting a surge in business-focused content.
Wait a minute. Doesn't everyone and their dog already have a YouTube channel about business?
True, that's true. But Nate's not talking about like generic surface level business advice. He's talking about hyper-focused channels that act as lead generation machines.
Ah, okay. So instead of trying to appeal to everyone, you're really laser focused on a specific niche audience, addressing their needs and challenges.
Yep, exactly. So for example, imagine a channel that's dedicated to helping Etsy shop owners with SEO.
Okay.
Or one that teaches architects how to use a specific software. You're providing immense value up front, which builds trust and positions you as the go-to expert.
I like that. It's like a magnet for your ideal clients.
Exactly. You're attracting the people who are most likely to need your services
Yeah.
because you're speaking directly to their pain points.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Huh.
It's not just about the broad category of business. It's
Yeah.
about carving out your unique space within that category.
Exactly. And speaking of carving out space, Nate also highlights mental health as a niche to watch.
This one feels really important,
Huh.
especially given everything that's going on in the world right now and just the increasing awareness of mental well-being.
Right. And YouTube can be such a powerful platform for sharing personal stories,
Hmm.
offering support, providing resources, connecting with others who are going through similar challenges.
And I think the key here, like Nate emphasizes, is authenticity.
Absolutely.
People can spot a fake a mile away.
Yeah.
So it's really important to be genuine and to share your story from a place of vulnerability and truth.
And I think it's also important to find a specific audience within that broader mental health space.
Yes.
It's not about trying to be everything to everyone. It's about connecting with a smaller group of people on a deeper level.
Right. So you might focus on anxiety in young adults or mindfulness techniques for busy professionals or, body positivity for teens. Whatever resonates with you and what you feel called to share.
Absolutely. Niching down allows you to really tailor your content to the specific needs of your audience and create that sense of community.
Yeah, that's so important because people want to feel seen and understood. And when you can create that space for them online, it's really powerful. Okay, so we've got freelancing, we've got business, we've got mental health. What else is on Nate's radar for 2025?
All right, this one speaks to a lot of people's desires these days, and that's automation and simplification.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. If you can help people streamline their lives, you're tapping into a powerful need.
It's true. Whether it's automating business tasks, organizing your home, finding ways to be more efficient with your time, everyone is looking for those life hacks.
And think about how versatile this niche can be. You could have a channel dedicated to teaching people how to use productivity apps, or one that shares tips for minimalist living, or even how to create a capsule wardrobe.
Right. It's all about making life easier, less stressful, and more enjoyable.
Exactly.
Thanks.
And who wouldn't want to subscribe to that?
Seriously. Okay, so we've got automation and simplification. What's the last one on Nate's list?
This one's all about embracing the journey.
Ooh, I like that.
He encourages anyone who's on a journey, big or small, to document it and share it with the world.
I love this one because it can be anything. You could be renovating a house, learning a new language, traveling the world, starting a business. It's about sharing your experiences, the highs and the lows, and connecting with others who are on a similar path.
Totally. It taps into our natural curiosity as humans. We love to see how other people are living their lives, how they're overcoming challenges, how they're achieving their goals.
You know what's so cool about this niche? It can overlap with so many others. A freelancer could document their journey of building a successful business. A mental health advocate could share their personal journey of healing and recovery. The possibilities are endless.
It's about finding those unique stories that resonate with an audience and create a sense of shared experience. And I think that's a powerful thing.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've explored some of the hot niche ideas that Nate sees taking off in 2025. But before we get too carried away brainstorming our own channels, let's take a step back and talk about what it really takes to succeed on YouTube, regardless of your niche.
Yes. This is where the rubber meets the road.
Right. It's not enough to just pick a hot topic and hit record. There's more to it than that.
Definitely.
So Nate lays out 5 key factors that are highly predictive of success on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I love that he doesn't present them as like rigid rules, but more as guiding principles.
Totally. Because there's no one-size-fits-all approach to YouTube success.
Exactly. So let's unpack these 5 factors and see how they can help us navigate the YouTube landscape. What's the first one?
So the first factor, and this is crucial, is that your chosen niche should align with your long-term goals. It's not about chasing trends or quick wins. It's about building something sustainable that fits into your overall vision for the future.
Okay. So it's about thinking bigger picture, not just what's going to get me views today, but where do I want to be in 5 years, 10 years? How does this YouTube channel fit into that bigger picture?
Exactly. And that might mean choosing a niche that's not necessarily the most popular or trendy right now.
Yeah.
But it's something that you can see yourself doing long term because it aligns with your values and your aspirations.
I love that. It's about making sure your YouTube journey is leading you somewhere you actually want to go.
Yes. So what are some of your long-term goals?
Well, I've always dreamed of writing a book someday, so maybe starting a YouTube channel about vegan baking could be a strategic stepping stone.
I love that.
I'm building an audience,
Mm.
showcasing my skills, establishing myself as an authority in that space.
That's awesome. And it totally aligns with your long-term goals.
Okay, so factor number one, make sure your niche aligns with your long-term goals. What's factor number two?
All right, factor number 2 is leverage your existing skills and experience. So what are you already good at? What knowledge do you possess that you could share with the world?
So instead of feeling like I have to reinvent the wheel, I can actually build on my existing strengths.
Exactly.
Okay,
I like that. You've already invested time and energy developing those skills, so why not share them with a wider audience on YouTube?
right.
It gives you a head start, and it allows you to create content that you're genuinely confident in.
I love that. It's like turning your passion into a purpose.
Totally. So think about what skills and experience you already have and how you can leverage them to create valuable content for your audience.
Awesome. Okay, what's factor number three?
Factor number 3 is to focus on something you already do in your life.
So if I'm obsessed with board games, I could start a channel reviewing board games teaching strategy, or even documenting my journey as I try to create my own board game.
Love that idea.
It's about finding that overlap between what I love and what I can share with others.
And when your YouTube content aligns with your existing hobbies and interests, it becomes a natural extension of who you are.
Right. It doesn't feel forced.
It feels authentic,
Huh.
and that authenticity will shine through in your content.
People can tell when you're genuinely passionate about something.
Oh.
Okay. Factor number 4. What is it?
Okay, so factor number 4 is to look for gaps in the market. Where do you see an opportunity to do something better or differently than what's already out there?
So it's not about copying what's popular. It's about finding your unique angle, your own voice within a particular niche.
Exactly. It's about identifying what's missing, what you wish existed on YouTube, and then creating it yourself.
I like that. It's about being innovative and bringing something new to the table, even if it's within an existing niche. Okay, we've covered 4 factors. What's the final one?
The final factor, and I think this is the most important of all, is to do something you love.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy creating the content, it's going to show. And it's going to be hard to sustain that effort over time.
Absolutely. When you're genuinely passionate about what you're doing, that energy is contagious. It draws people in, and it makes them want to be a part of your community.
And let's be honest, creating content consistently takes work.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to stay motivated when you're excited about what you're sharing.
Totally. And it's not just about the content itself. It's about the entire process. If you dread filming, editing, engaging with your audience, it's going to be a tough road.
Yeah.
But if you find joy in those aspects, the entire YouTube journey becomes a rewarding experience.
Okay, so those are Nate Black's 5 secrets to finding a YouTube niche that's likely to explode. But here's the really cool part.
Yeah.
He says if you can find a niche that hits multiple of these factors, whoa, hold on to your hats, because things are about to get interesting.
Right. It's like hitting the jackpot. You found that perfect intersection where your passions, your skills, the needs of your audience, and your long-term goals all align.
He even uses this visual of overlapping circles in his video to illustrate how powerful it can be when these factors come together.
Yeah. It's like magic.
And he gives this great example of his friend who wants to travel the country in a van reviewing local theaters.
Right. Which is such a cool idea.
Like, how fun would that be?
I know.
And it hits so many of those factors. He's passionate about theater. He has experience reviewing performances. There's a clear audience for unique and insightful theater reviews, especially for those less-known venues. And it combines perfectly with his desire to travel.
And it's something that he can do long term.
Right.
It's not just a flash in the pan.
It's like a recipe for YouTube success.
It is. And you know what I love about that example? Is that it's not just about the external factors. It's about the internal fulfillment as well. He's doing something he loves. He's sharing his passion. And he's potentially building a career around it.
And that brings us to another important point that Nate emphasizes. Success doesn't have to mean millions of subscribers or going viral.
Right. He encourages viewers to define success on their own terms.
Yeah. Maybe it's about building a community,
Yeah.
sharing knowledge, impacting even a small number of people, or simply expressing your creativity and having fun along the way.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of your YouTube journey and finding fulfillment on your own terms, not based on some external measure of success.
I love that message. It's so empowering because it takes the pressure off.
Right. You don't have to compare yourself to other creators or feel like you're not good enough.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about what a niche is, the pros and cons of that niching slider, some hot niche ideas for 2025, and Nate Black's 5 key factors for success.
That's a lot. It's a lot to process.
It is. So I think it's important to take a step back, reflect on what we've discussed today.
Yeah.
What resonated with you? What sparked your interest? And most importantly, how can you apply these insights to your own YouTube journey?
And that's what we're going to talk about in the next part of our deep dive. We're going to get into some more practical strategies for actually finding and refining your niche.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
You know, as we were talking about those 5 factors, I was thinking about how they're not just about finding a niche.
It's like a framework for building something you can actually keep going with.
Yeah, like not just chasing after whatever's popular right now.
It has to be something you love to do.
Exactly. That passion, it keeps you going when things get tough.
Because it's going to be tough sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There'll be times when you just don't feel like making videos.
Or you don't know what to make a video about.
Or it feels like nobody's even watching.
But if you love what you're doing, it's easier to push through those times.
And eventually you'll find your people you know.
The ones who really connect with what you're putting out there.
That sense of community, that's something Nate talked about a lot too.
It's not just about the numbers.
No, it's about making those connections with people.
Sharing something that you're passionate about. And knowing that it's making a difference in someone's life, even if it's just one person.
So how do we actually find that sweet spot where our passions and skills and the needs of our audience all come together?
Well, I think it starts with asking yourself some tough questions.
Like Nate was saying, dig deep. Figure out what really lights you up.
What do you already spend hours doing even when you don't have to?
Well, what makes you forget to eat or sleep because you're so engrossed in it?
That's a good sign that you're onto something.
And then think about how you can share that passion with others through YouTube.
Maybe it's teaching people how to do something you're good at.
Or sharing your knowledge about a particular topic.
Or simply documenting your journey as you pursue your passion.
Like that example with the guy reviewing theaters.
I love that one. It's such a perfect blend of passion experience and audience demand.
And it's something that's totally unique to him.
Nobody else is doing exactly what he's doing.
But that's what makes it so special.
It's authentic, it's engaging, and it's something that people actually want to watch.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of self-reflection.
Digging deep, figuring out what you love.
But what about the practical side of things?
You mean like doing your research?
Exactly. Making sure there's an audience for your niche.
Seeing what other creators are doing in that space.
And understanding how the YouTube algorithm works.
All of that is super important.
You don't want to pour your heart and soul into a channel.
And then realize that nobody's watching.
So definitely do your homework.
Check out the competition.
Look for keywords that people are searching for.
And make sure there's enough interest in your niche to sustain a channel long term.
Because remember, consistency is key.
If you want to grow your channel, you need to be showing up regularly.
Delivering valuable content.
And engaging with your audience.
But don't let all of this overwhelm you.
It's okay to start small.
Experiment with different ideas.
And see what resonates with people.
You don't have to have everything figured out from day one.
The most important thing is to just start creating.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Your niche might evolve over time.
Your interests might change.
You might discover new passions.
That's all part of the process.
So embrace the journey and enjoy the ride.
You never know where it might lead you.
Speaking of journeys, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have. From understanding what a niche is, to identifying hot niche ideas, to unpacking those 5 key factors for success.
It's been a whirlwind of information.
But hopefully it's left you feeling inspired and ready to take action.
So what's next? What are some things people can do to actually put this knowledge into practice?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about in the final part of our deep dive.
We're going to get even more specific and practical.
So stay with us. We'll be right back. This whole niche thing, it's not just about YouTube, is it?
No, not at all. It's about finding yourself, really.
What are you passionate about? What do you want to share with the world? What kind of impact do you want to make?
It's like using YouTube as a tool.
Yeah, to connect with people.
To build community.
To express your creativity.
To make a difference.
And I think Nate's advice really speaks to that. It's not just about the views of the subscribers.
It's about something deeper.
Yeah, something more meaningful.
And that's what I find so inspiring about YouTube.
Me too. It gives everyone a voice.
Anyone can share their story.
And connect with people from all over the world.
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Don't let fear hold you back.
You never know who you might inspire.
One thing I know a lot of people struggle with is comparison.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's so easy to get caught up in that.
Scrolling through YouTube and seeing all these amazing creators with millions of subscribers.
And thinking, I'll never be that good.
Or my niche is too crowded.
There's no point in even trying.
But here's the thing, there's only one you.
That's right. Your unique perspective, your experiences, your voice, that's what makes you special.
And that's what people will connect with.
So don't try to be someone you're not.
Embrace your individuality,
Your quirks,
your passions.
and let them shine through in your content.
So what are some key takeaways that we can leave our listeners with today?
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that finding your niche is a journey.
It's not a one-time decision.
It's an ongoing process of exploration and discovery.
So be patient with yourself.
Allow yourself to experiment.
And don't be afraid to pivot if something isn't working.
That's great advice. And also remember that consistency is key.
If you want to grow your channel, you need to show up regularly.
Deliver value to your audience.
And nurture those connections over time.
But don't forget to have fun along the way.
YouTube should be an enjoyable experience.
So choose a niche that you're passionate about.
And let that enthusiasm shine through in your content.
Because if you're not enjoying the process, it will show.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of YouTube niches.
We've covered a lot of ground.
But hopefully you're walking away with some valuable insights.
And a renewed sense of excitement about your YouTube journey.
So what are you waiting for?
Go out there, create amazing content, and make your mark on the world.
We're rooting for you.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Until then, keep creating.